Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Escaping Success podcast. I'm the solo host today, Tom Leffler. Today, I'm going to discuss the new year, 2025. I'm going to discuss some of the biggest takeaways I had from this past year. The first thing, actually, a new insight I realized is with many things in life, it happens really slow. If not, I almost feel like nothing is happening at all, then it happens fast. By meaning of this, I mean, for example, I guess a great way to explain this is in a business sense. You start a business and you're either in debt or you're starting to make a little bit of money, you're working hard, you think you're doing everything right, you're like, I can't really get much profits, not much money's coming in, so you're doing every little thing possible trying to get any money coming in. And then fast forward 3, 5, 10 years later, there's a plethora of money coming in, or a plethora of profits, or plethora of opportunities available. But in the first initial year, 3-year, 5-year stage of that business, it seemed like one, nothing was happening, or it barely was anything was happening. It was so hard, you're grasping at strings or trying to get anything to come through. But then it snowballs, and then it happens slow before it happens fast. And I think that's something that I've experienced in business. I've experienced it in relationships, like friendships even. When I went on my quest about 2.5 years ago to foster better brotherhood, better friendships, it really was slow at first. It was like nothing really was biting. I thought I was an outsider to be want to prove myself, growth minded, all these things. So the fitness, health, but then it slowly found one person, then found another person, then found another person, and now it's like a snowball, like it's rolling down the hill, and I have a plethora of opportunities, people I could hang out with, or meet for dinner, or go grab a coffee. It's just the options open up. But backtrack 2.5 years ago, when I was initially on that journey of trying to find new friends, new brotherhood, it was slow. There's nothing going on, or barely one person, and it was just gee, this is tough. But by sticking through and trusting the process, it got to a point where it snowballed. Same thing goes for fitness. Fitness, when I started kind of my current regimen that I'm on right now, it really almost took a year before I actually saw results. I was doing the same thing for a year before actually my body started to change, and I actually was like, oh wow, this is working. So it happens slow before it happens fast. That's something I realized. And myself, everybody, we want it to now. But that's not how things happen in life. It happens slow before it happens fast. And it does suck, and we wish you get results right away. But I think trusting the process, knowing you have a good process. Again, obviously, if you don't have a good process, you got to reevaluate. But if you see little incremental changes, that's kind of how you know you're on the right process. For myself, I just, Jordan Peterson talks about it, just try to be better than you were yesterday. It is so simplistic, but yet so hard to do, honestly. You try to be 1% better than yesterday, and obviously some days you want to be 10%, 100% better, but it's aim small at first, get little wins, build the momentum, and then if you do retrospectively, look over a year span, if you're 1% better every day for a whole year, basically you're 365 times better. So you triple, almost quadrupled yourself, your value, who you are as a person, if every day you took one little step forward. So that's something I really took away is, realizing how any changes I want to make in my life, it's going to happen slow before it happens fast. And be patient, honestly understand the clues, and if there's no progress at all, reevaluate, make a new plan, kind of attack it differently. But there's little changes, trust, okay, there's little micro changes in a positive direction, then stay the course, trust the process. And as long as I do that, it might be a year, 6 months, 3 months, 2 years, but the good positive results are going to come. The other thing I kind of realized too with 2024, looking back, is I know nothing stays the same. That's something I've really thought about. I think about is nothing stays the same, and adapting and be more willingness to change and not trying to hold on to so much the past. A lot of my internal struggles are dealing with holding on to a version of my life or a time in my life that I want to get back to, and realizing that everything is fluctuating, life is ever changing, and accepting that for the good and bad changes, and, realize the mental shift that, the best is now and the best is yet to come. And not being so caught up in, it was best, when I was in high school, or best when I was in college, or best when I was in that particular relationship, looking at like, okay, yeah, take those situations, learn from those experiences, but realize you have to be here. Life is changing. You can't go back to what you had 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Wanting that or really craving that is actually going to make me not enjoy now more. And that's something that, I really struggle with, and which leads to, kind of sadness, depression, whatever that you may call it, is, if you're so caught up in the past. And then obviously if you're in the future, you're anxious, anxiety. So past is usually depressed, future is usually anxious, present is, that's where you want to be. And so whenever I'm feeling those type of ways of like sadness or depression, it's kind of like I'm harping on a particular moment of time in the past that I thought was so good or was the best, and wanting that now. So I'm not enjoying now because I want those feelings I had, whatever it was, a year, 3 years, 5 years ago, and not really realizing, okay, accepting for that was, and being grateful for that experience. Obviously, if it was that good, looking back on it, it's like, that's a good thing. You did have good times, and that just means good times are coming. And so really framing the mindset that, the best is now and the best is yet to come, and realizing, yeah, the past is the past and learn from it. But I personally struggle with times getting stuck in the past, living there too long and like, reminiscing on the past or wanting that past situation to be here and now. And it obviously interferes with my current present moment, and also affects my future, because if I'm so focused in the past, I'm not going to be here now, and I'm not going to make probably sound decisions for my future. So it's something that I'm still working on. I mean, even yesterday, 2024 was yesterday, I was still working through that, reminiscing on a past time in my life. And I was like, take it for what it was. Just telling myself I got to take that for what it was, enjoy and realize how important and great that moment was, and be appreciative for it, and you learn great lessons from it, but don't stay there. What we have is now, like, okay, new year, new me, whatever that is. But I think it's taking that lesson that past is in the past, learn from it, but don't dwell on it. And that's something that I work on a lot. I'm working on, and I want to get better at doing, especially as I head into this new year, is realizing that like when times get hard in my current life or current present moment, I kind of revert back to like when this time everything was good, or with this person, or in this situation, or before I did this business, or before I knew all that, and it's doesn't solve anything. Realizing the only thing I can do is take the next best step now, instead of dwelling in the past. And to everyone out there that are listening, my few of many viewers, just know that I truly believe that everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to be happening. And, what's meant to be will be. And fully, it's a hard mental process, but fully releasing and letting go of what we most desire will most likely bring that to us. Obviously, you got to put work in and, set yourself up in certain ways. But from my own experience, I've been really working on trying to, know what I want, write out, visualize it, but, putting it out there, write it down. Again, everyone, we have our goals. A lot of people have the 2025 goals. Write them out, create a plan to achieve them, all this. But I think, once you write it out, have a plan, know what steps you're going to take, almost releasing and trusting that those goals will come to you. It's a very, very hard mental exercise. That I'm saying it, I'm working on doing this, but I think I realized in times in my life when I finally really fully, knew what I want, had a plan, knew I was gonna work every day towards it, and then release the feeling of like, I need this now, and trusting that it will come and letting it go. Then I moved so much faster. The goal came quicker, or it just came. And that's something that I'm still working on. A really good book is Letting Go, A Pathway to Surrender. I'm gonna reread that actually as this New Year's approaches, because back last, I think February, I read that book, and it really had a huge impact on my life. And it's crazy how, after a busy pool season, after, like a crazy last few months, how I revert back to old behaviors and, the self-help growth stuff. Like it's like ever, you're always learning new things, but you got to keep reinforcing it. I mean, you see, I got stuff here, I got poster board. It's, it doesn't stop, unfortunately. It's like working out at the gym. Like, you have to keep going to the gym. It's not just like you build the body you want and that's like, boom. I will say, like, building a body in the gym, though, once you build your mindset up or once you have a plan, all that stuff, you don't have to do as much work as you did to get there, but you still got to show up and, do, for me, it's like, rereading my notes to myself, journaling, meditation, prayer, whatever that is. So that's basically my plan for 2025 is, working on those things, reading, letting go again, trusting that things happen slow before they happen fast.